Hey, what's up, guys? It is Chris. Thank you guys for checking this episode out. I had a lot of fun with Melo talking about not only his future projects, but what he's currently doing and what him and I will be doing together on here. Before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know about Serenity Landscaping Services. They are not only booking for their big projects coming up, we are at like the middle of March now, getting into April. So they'll also be booking spring cleanings, yard cleanups, and anything else that you might have to do. Let them do the work for you. Make it easy on yourself. What you're going to want to do is give them a call at 518-331-0774. Again, that's 518-331-0774. That is Serenity Landscaping Services. And you're going to let them know that Chris from Chewin The Rag referred you. Also, while you guys are here, if you would just, like, subscribe, share, rate, whatever platform you are listening to the podcast on, or if you're watching on YouTube, just subscribe there. Anything that helps out the algorithm, it's a free way to just help me out. Growing a podcast by yourself without any real help or guidance can be a pain. So those are just some free, easy ways to help me out. And if you actually enjoy, if you don't enjoy it, don't rate it. I don't give a shit, or rate it 1 star, whatever. Do what you legitimately want to do. And we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. If you go to ChewinTheRag.com, you'll have all our links. We're over on TikTok as well. We're good, bro. Jesus. That shit was a pain in the ass.
Just a couple hours to get here.
I know, bro. We had a whole other day planned, and then
I was at it. Technically took us a few days to get here.
different hours of the day planned. Shit was a damn mess, but we are here. I am here today. I am joined by one half of the Who You Got podcast, my man Melo. How you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. Pleasure to be here. Appreciate the invite, Chris.
Yeah, bro. I had to, I don't do sports on here, but I had to throw on the jersey and the hat just because I was like, you know what? We're gonna do Who You Got. We're gonna have him on here. I'm doing it.
I seen that when you come in the camera, I was like, damn, it's not football season. He's still wearing Cowboys gear. Okay.
Bro, I'm just hoping to get somebody in free agency. This is a prayer shot at this point.
I know you at this point the fans gotta do the promoting and the recruiting.
Bro, Jalen Ramsey to Miami. Did you just see that?
Just seen that today. That's a scary team now. AFC East is shaking up. Diggs look like he's not going back to Buffalo, or at least don't want to. It's crazy out there. Honestly, they did say they do think that's speculation, him trying to go with his brother.
Yeah, bro. So, that's my prayer here. So for Who You Got, it's you and Yasin. And how did you guys get started with that? I know obviously you both like sports, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it, but how did you really get started with Who You Got?
Yeah, I want to say like 5 years ago, the idea of doing a little sports podcast popped in my head with a whole different friend group. But just initially thinking of what you got to do. I mean, you can attest to that. You got 2 podcasts, just the startup of everything. It's a lot of work, just production, making sure everything's good. So it never really planned out. But Yasin, he's basically Rado and me grew up for the last 10 years. He has a lot of videography, photography experience. He does DJ music. He's a jack of all trades. So after one time of us like argument after argument of us getting into a fight, and I remember one time it really got spicy, and it was about Ben Simmons. A couple years ago, and we almost I wouldn't say almost fought, but boy, we was getting bad. So I got a lot of other projects I like to do. I got other podcast ideas, documentaries, series, movies. But I was really facing a creative block for a couple years. So I was like, I need something what I thought would be easy to kind of get myself started. Not easy, 2 years in, where we're doing a lot better than we expected, but we're so far from where we want to be. But I basically had someone who I already knew about recording, had mics, had everything set up. I pretty much brought my production to his directing, and everything got put together, and here we are.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, it's a pain because realistically, so like there was a podcast before these. It was 3-bedroom apartment. There was like four of us that knew about it. That was my original podcast idea when I was doing stand up because I was like, every stand up has podcasts. I got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I didn't really take it serious. And then, as you know, Ray approached me and he was like, "Do you want to do something?" And that's how Dangerously Average Dudes came about. And it was just like, that's when I sat down and I was like, I got to learn how to do this shit because neither one of us know what we're doing, but we both want to do it. So somebody's got to just put their head down and work. And it was, I mean, I'm still learning this shit. You saw how long it took me to get this damn thing set up for you. I'm over here trying to send links.
I
I know,
know,
like a
yo,
granddad.
and not even that. He's like, yo, I got this invite. I'm like, I didn't get it. You sending me invites on Zoom. I'm on Skype. So we're really like two 80-year-olds. Like, what is wrong? I can't get this to work. Like,
Bro, I had to open up
definitely a bad
Facebook.
moment. I'm sitting here like I'm putting numbers in and saying invalid code. I'm like, I don't even think this the right format. Like, what's going on? 100%.
Bro,
Like some old geezers.
really felt like somebody's granddad. I was like, damn, we're both terrible.
Bro, as soon as you sent the invite and I clicked on it, it still didn't even like dawn on me that it's
Right.
Zoom. I clicked on it, then the whole Zoom thing popped up. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, that was my fault. So you sent me the
uh,
code, but I'm like, oof, I don't know.
yeah, you're like, yeah, this ain't working. I'm like, son of a bitch, what do I got to do? I'm like, what's your email? That's how you know it was like
Yo,
I could have just texted it. Like, what's your email?
what's your 100%? And I'm sitting here in my spam, like, I don't got it, bro. I don't know what's going on. But that's how it is. Even now though, he does all like he does videography, photography, he edit, clips the videos, make sure we're streaming, got all the mics and everything set up, work on our sound. But even then, like you said, we didn't know what we were doing. Like
Right.
that's just recording wise. Like there's so much more that I did not anticipate, and it definitely threw me for a loop. But once you get in it, like you get in it, like
Yeah.
you on your second podcast, I got a second one coming out this year. This is my third podcast guesting this year. Like once you're in it, you really you find a love for it, and you start to learn to love the work a little bit.
Exactly. And then like it just comes down to, you can't be one of those people who's like, I'm not gonna go to this guy's like I'm trying to get on everybody. If you want to have
Everything.
me, you want to talk sports, I'm a casual, I'll talk sports. Like we'll figure something out. Somebody's got something for me.
100%. For me, I will be honest. I do try to stick away from a few topics, just because some topics have like a. Granted, sports do have a cult like following, but it's
Yeah.
a little bit more. We can hey, you hate this person, I hate this person. At the end of the day, it's sports. But there are certain topics that I like. I'll be honest. Religion, political, and relationship stuff. Well, I'm not doing that.
Nope.
I'll be honest. I'm a casual, like you said, when it comes to sports. But at the end of the day, if I have an opinion, I'm gonna back it up by facts.
Yeah.
That's easy with sports. The rest of that, I'll leave for the professionals, man.
Yeah, no, I ain't touching. Like, definitely not politics. I'll make a couple
Oh no,
jokes about politics, but you're not gonna sit here and debate with me on it
yeah,
because you're gonna
not at
win.
all.
You'll win. I'll just gloves off. You can have it.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Or same thing with relationships. Like your boy been single for a while. I'm good over here with advice. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No,
y'all
don't
could
come
deal
to
with y'all
me.
your own.
You guys, I've been married. Like I'm married. I have a son. I don't want to give you any advice. You don't need my advice. You need to go talk to somebody who's going through what you're going through because it ain't me.
That's a fact. But other than that, the spectrum is wide, man.
Mm,
Sometimes you feel like you got a voice. I do like to try to venture off to more serious topics this year, but also the whole just keeping it light. Like sometimes people just like listen to sports, listen to a laugh, just hearing someone just walk around the mic talk about some stories or some funny experiences. Like that's something I like bringing to the people.
yeah, no, I mean, same boat for me. Even like our couple of last guests, it's mostly like, we're joking, and then it's like being a dad is this, and then it's like back to jokes. It's like I'm not trying to only throw punchline at you. Like I'll give you a nugget here or there, but I just everything about me is comedy. Like
I
from
was just
growing
about to
up,
say with your
like
history.
like everything about me is just be funny. So I have a hard time just sitting there for an hour and not being funny.
Nah, I mean that's for sports. I don't really get that opportunity. I
Right.
do like to throw in a little, jokes here and there. But like just having that opportunity where, because really, the one thing I learned about podcasts, it really is not about it's about the fans, but in the moment, it's honestly about you and the person you're with having just that conversation.
a hundred
Um,
percent.
so like as long as you're with someone who you could flow with, that at the end of the day, if you are meshing together well and it's not a serious topic, or even if it is, jokes are gonna come out, especially with
Yeah.
someone like your ass. There's no way you could take anything serious.
Bro. I had Ray because the new season of Fortnite came out and he's been dying to play. So I was like, all right, let me download it. I started playing with him. This man couldn't sit still. Like he's like, bro, I'm gonna get shot. He's dying laughing. I don't even remember. I was saying just stupid. I told my brother we were playing. I was like, shut up, you got a kaleidoscope, pussy. And Ray's like, what the fuck is a kaleidoscope, pussy? And I was like, I don't know, bro. Things
Whole
just come
time,
to my
man's getting
head,
shot
bro.
at from the side. He's over here laughing at your
We
jokes.
started dying. I was like, bro, I'm gonna get shot. I'm laughing too hard. This is game.
And that's why you can't put all four of us in a party together. It's no
No,
way.
no, that's just that at that point you just got to stream and know, like, look, you're not watching four dudes streaming to win. These motherfuckers are streaming to crack jokes, and you're just here for that one. Like,
Yeah, there's
bro,
not one game I'm prolific at, but I'm very good at being average at a lot of things.
yep,
So
100%. That's all it is, bro. That's why, like, I'll be like, oh, we'll hop on stream, and then I'm fucking getting smoked 40-20 in Madden, and I'm like, I'm never streaming again. This game's fucking bullshit. That dude's cheating. It's never they're better than me. They're always cheating. Like
I'll be honest,
not
like I
doing
can
it.
I can just actually admit they're better than me because the amount of times I play any, and I mean any single game online, my skill level is never
Yeah.
up to par. Like Madden, 2K, Call of Duty, Fortnite, everything I hop on, I'm getting scraped by motherfuckers putting in hours and months,
Yeah,
and
bro.
it's like it's just not even fun anymore. Like, I'm gonna stay here in my career mode, and I'll drop my 40, 20, and 13. Like I'm good. Like I'm a superstar over here. They love
Yeah,
me
bro.
here. Like I'm the MVP. Like fuck all this. I go play online. I'm getting 2 points, 5 rebounds, and I'm shooting 3 for 9. Now these motherfuckers look at me like, who's him? Little do they know I run
Hmm.
shit where I'm from.
Yeah,
So
yeah, bro. You come over to the Jazz at a home
yeah,
game,
that's
bitch.
what
I'm
I was saying.
dropping
Come
something.
come watch my highlights. So you just see me put a poster on that man. I dropped 70 points. Stop lying.
Bro, I swear to God. Oh shit. I like what you guys do on who you got though, because like you said, everybody's got an opinion, but like for me, I could never do a sports podcast because it's so hard to be subjective. And like what you guys do, it's a lot of like it's who you got, like this versus this
Yep.
versus this. And like me, my sports MMA, that's what sports are. It's just this guy versus this guy. So I really like that format of things that you guys do. I like just pitting things up against each other more than anything. Like a lot of these sports podcasts, they want to pretend they're analysts, they want to pretend they're breaking news. And it's like, bro, I went to high school. You're not breaking news. You work
Right.
at Testos. Like you're not breaking fucking news.
And they'll try to spin it in a way like as if they just found something us
Yeah.
new. It's crazy, and it's not like a hating thing,
No.
but the amount of sports podcasts I don't listen to because I just completely hate how they go about things.
Hmm.
Like when I'm setting things up, I don't watch sports shows anymore because I find that I would subconsciously start having the same or start trying to have the same topics or same conversations. Like if
Yeah.
I like okay, Lamar Jackson, we just did an episode on that a few days ago. There's no way in hell we're not gonna do an episode on that. Everyone's talking about it. But for us, it was more of a we've already had this conversation multiple times where we had a whole segment on whether or not Lamar not signing that extension was going to hurt him in the long run. So for us, it wasn't just because everyone was talking about it, but obviously that's breaking news. We're
Yeah.
going to throw our opinion, pull back our previous because he had one, he went one way, I went another way. So we got the stats to prove that those are opinions. So it's definitely where it's a little every like even on ESPN, all the damn shows are the same shows
Yeah.
talking about the same things. It,
100%.
it makes no sense.
No, and that's the thing with sports. Like that's why like I like what you guys actually like. I'm a legitimate like fan of what you guys do. Obviously, you're my boy and we're friends, and I have you on here for that. But like, I legitimately like the way you format what you two do over there because it's redundant everywhere else. Just the way people go about it. You guys, kind of spin your own angle on it, and you back it up. Like you said, you guys do your research. I've seen you both pull out fucking pads. Like, I wrote this shit down. You're not gonna
Yeah,
get
it's a
me on
fact.
this.
Uh-huh. And
And it's like,
if I gotta pull it up on Google right now, like we've done
yeah.
that those are the good episodes where because we never know what we're going or what way we're choosing for
Hmm.
anything, and we just let it come out in an episode. So there'll be a lot of times where we will like surprise each other, like oh, you really like UFC episode a couple weeks ago. Obviously, you're a fight fan, so you'll have
Hmm.
an opinion on this. We're talking about Valentina fighting against Alexa. Obviously, I was like, listen, I had high praises for Valentina. I'm like, listen, at this point, to me, I do think she's the pound for pound woman's great. She's only lost to Nunes twice, very close decision
Yep.
losses at Nunes's weight. I think if Nunes was able to drop what she can't anymore, which is why she's at where she's at, Valentina will give her another run for her money. So for me, I was like, I understand Nunes to go, but Valentina is really like 1B for me.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, yeah, I definitely got Valentina second behind Rousey. And I was like, what?
I
Excuse
saw that.
excuse me. So that right there, we got to do a whole episode on that because that's wild for me
Yeah.
because the fact that you got Rousey first, Valentina second, and Nunes third,
Sheesh.
like that was just baffling. So we had to stop the whole episode. I'm like, no, run that back. What did you just say? So it's nice and I like doing that. I don't like having everything written out of the T as long as I give us the topics we say we want to say, and
Hmm.
we know, hey, if we fall on the same side, we just both fall on the same side, agree what we agree on, and move on. If not, then we have our both points to back up why we do. So it's definitely a good format, and we've been trying to tune it. It's 2 years, and we still got a long ways to go.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years realistically. I mean, when you're recording, because you see how many episodes you guys have, like that,
I
it
would say
feels
does seem
like,
like a lot.
yeah, but like 2 years, like that's like you're still new at your job if you're there for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like you're
Exactly.
so like it's definitely still a baby, but you guys put out good content. You put out a lot of content, which those two don't always go hand in hand. Like you sometimes you get the
It's
quality
about
over quantity,
consistency.
and
Yeah.
yeah. But
So luckily we have two different styles and it clashes. We try to decide on what we want, but I'm more of an emphasis on quality. He's more of an emphasis on quantity. So we have like we find a way to mesh it together. But I'm very big on I don't care. I don't want to put out junk. Like I
yeah,
refuse to just like it has to be something I believe in. It has to be something I feel like is good work.
no, I agree. When I first started even this one, like my wife wasn't home. I sat down for like a full hour. I was like, let me introduce this, new podcast, what it's gonna be, what's going on. And that never seen the light of day. I scrapped it. Like literally I scrapped. That's why the teaser's really only a half hour because I just did a full hour and I didn't like it. Like and I'm not putting out if I'm not gonna like it, these people that I'm trying to bring in, like why are they gonna like what I'm saying if even I don't stand by it? So I agree with that 100%. But I also agree that okay, we could put out five quality, but that's not gonna listeners still want that steady week to week basis, especially if you're a weekly podcast, for example. So you got to make sure you really just got to be on your A game, and sometimes you're gonna be on your B game, but you know you got to just put it out there. Like,
No, 100%. They like you said, they want the consistency
hmm
any any surviving podcast or just because when you get into this kind of realm of creation or content creation, now you're talking podcast, social medias, YouTube, anything around those realm, you have to be consistent to not only get a
correct.
fan base, but then you have to be even more consistent to retain that fan base. So definitely, and that's a lot of people do put out what not junk but just low quality stuff just to throw in
Yep.
fillers like something we're trying to do is a lot of TikTok trends to kind of throw in fillers. That's something we're trying to race it because we want to get more stuff out there. But at the end of the day, we're not just gonna throw a bunch of stuff together just to have it, just to throw it out there. So it's definitely a fine line of trying to find a balance.
Yeah. No, I was actually gonna bring that up. I've noticed both of you, not even just you, doing those TikTok trends and whatnot. And that's similar to like I don't even know if we follow it on the new TikTok, but like on the Chewin the Rag TikTok that I have, similar to the same thing. Like even if I'm not putting out a clip from last week's episode or a teaser for this week's episode, I'll just throw up like a Madden stream clip or an old stand-up bit. I put something, it was like me just getting ground and pounded, and I put like my opponent as the IRS and me like my tax return plans, like just something stupid like that. That it's like you got to put out something to hold these people over because your podcast is once a week. Your TikTok, you're gonna put one clip out a week, or your social media, you're gonna put one post a week. So I liked what you guys were doing with the TikTok, and I kind of like followed that. I was like, I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. That is
TikTok is
smart.
very crucial right now. TikTok and Instagram. YouTube is the hardest to grow. Like right now,
Yep.
I just been really digging into the branding of it, of really just not just like right now. It's gotten to the point where I want everyone to attach me to my podcast, attach my podcast to me. Um, I don't even try to keep my personal pages personal as much anymore. Granted, that was because I just got my page hacked about a month ago. But before that, I was on so many suspensions
Yeah.
that I couldn't monetize anything off of my social media. That's another
Mm,
thing too, getting money off of just throwing content out there. Like at the end of the day, I would love to be doing all this full time. So I got to start somewhere.
right.
So branding is very important to me right now. Just really trying to get who I am as a person and what I'm about out there. And right now it is sports, but like you said, you got UFC clips, you got comedies. Like Chewin The Rag is your brand and it's you. So that's definitely important on kind of just upping your brand and getting your followers up there.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, we got a guest.
Yeah, yeah. That's we keep it authentic here.
Yeah,
He's
open
popped
door
into a couple.
policy.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get on cam. Usually he'll just pop in once in a while. Like he'll hop up. It's funny. But like, I mean, that's another thing with this is I mean, I mentioned it on almost every episode about like just being a dad. Like, I don't care if he what am I gonna do? Go lock him away? Like, bro, come over, push buttons, don't stop my recording, don't mess with my knobs, but you want to grab the mic and talk for a second, say what's up, say what's up. Like I'm just one of those people like believes don't shelter hide things, and it's a dead horse at this point because I talk about it often. But
Nah,
I
man.
like to have
If
him here
AI
and get
and
him
Jason
involved.
Tatum can put their kids up
Yeah,
on the mic for
yeah,
an
that's what I'm
NBA game,
saying.
you could do it for your podcast. Kids are kids, man. And honestly, man, not one person. I don't think I've ever seen a interview or a podcast where it got interrupted by a kid. And I was like, oh man, nope,
Yeah,
I'm
I
out of
know.
here.
Turn it
Like,
off.
nah, don't let if anything, I'm rooting the kid on. Let us hear something. Like, what do you think? Who you
Yeah.
got for this game, bro?
But back to consistency, that was, I mean, you know it better than anybody. Like with Dangerously Average Dudes, like we weren't consistent. We're not a consistent duo at all. Like, so like
It's hard when two
it was
people.
something, yeah. So it was something that I had to take from that and be like, I mean, if you're gonna do it, you can't just run two inconsistent podcasts. You're not gonna retain anybody doing that. So, you know, I'm just really big on schedule. You and I, obviously, if you have to reschedule and change things around, like I'm accommodating, you're accommodating. You were like, can we do between 4 and 5? And I was like, I got a package coming.
I was like,
Like,
hey, I'll wait. Yeah,
so it's like,
and
yeah.
it's about that communication though. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just be concise. Like, I can't. Like I told you, I was stuck in a whole nother city for the night. Like, I'm not even on my way home by 11, and that was when we were supposed to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all about communication, but it is definitely hard with two people living two different types of lives. Obviously, I know you and Ray personally, so you're both fathers,
Mm-hmm.
both working different types of jobs, different schedules, and all that. So it can definitely be difficult.
Yeah. So that was, yeah, that's literally all it comes down to is just you have to. I don't know what that was all about. My computer done messed up. I thought we stopped recording, but it literally just comes down to that communication, and that's for anything. But for podcasting specifically, with you and I both know it as co-hosts of podcasts that you're trying to grow, like that communication is huge, 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 huge.
And yeah, that's actually a really big part of like what we're working on and who you got. The first year is we're about to be, I think we're a month away from two full years,
Yeah.
and just under 100 episodes. But the first year we just winged it so bad. We really didn't know we were doing it. We was just flying by the seat of our pants. And for a startup, we did really good. And obviously, like we thought we were doing good. It was fun. But then the second year, I personally like I started to dig a little bit more into what we were doing, how we were doing, and we were just kind of stagnant. So I was like, we had a good boom in the beginning, but now we're just like a couple thousand subscribers, a couple hundred no, a couple hundred subscribers and a couple thousand listeners per episode. Like at this point, we're trying to grow a little more. So for a big part of it is putting pen to paper, setting short-term goals. Um, me it's so crazy because like every Friday I usually get on my phone while I'm working. I'm trying to just look at the week, see how we did, see what goals we have for this week, if we missed the app or if we missed a goal when it came to posting videos or posts, because now we do blogs now,
Hmm.
keeping the website up to date. So every Friday it's just me sending essays. A lot of times I'll be having a tell my co-host like, I hope you don't think I'm yelling at you, because it just be just all
Yeah.
right, we need to do this, we need to do this, we missed
Hmm.
this week, blah blah. And I'm like, just that's my day. When like, so we're very focused on, like I said, short-term goals so you can actually see progress. Right now, I'm really focused on the analytics, but especially like I said, I found out a year in that we had different ways of doing things that we didn't really notice because we were just doing things however we wanted. So
Right.
at that point, I'm like, all right, we got to find a way to work that together and find ways that don't work together. Like you said, open communication. I'll say, hey, this is what I want to do. What do you think? Sometimes we'll fall on different sides, try to find a way to find even ground. But it is definitely a lot. Like, we're honestly talking every single day about the podcast for things that we need to do that day, things we did yesterday, things we doing tomorrow. Like, it's an everyday thing, and it's been helping.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's something that so this dude Milton, who did stand up with me, Milton Young is his name. He still to this day, I don't even know if he gets on stage, but to this day, he'll go on Instagram. He'll put his story up, and it's a journal out with a date on it, and he journals every single day. And he always told me like, dude, keep a journal on you, because like me, I love to riff. Like I love to riff. I'll come in here and I'll just freestyle. We'll improv. We'll have fun. But at a certain point, it's like, and then you're pausing. You're saying, you're saying this, and you're not really, there's no transition there. So if you have something written out, you can riff all you want, and then you're like, back to this, and then you get to that topic. So I'm trying to do better with short-term goals. If something sticks out to me throughout the day, get it up here real quick, even if it's on my phone, paper, whatever it is, jot that down so I know like I'm gonna talk about that this week's episode or whatever recording it is. So that's huge to me. And it's good to see that not only Yasin, I'm sure he receives that well as well, because like that's benefiting both of you guys for even if I'm sure he's doing his own thing too, but like for one of you to sit down once a week and send all that over, like that's probably helping him more than even
Yeah, no, it's definitely helping. Like I said, we have a different way of doing things, and I like communication is key. So like, um there was one podcast we were doing, and like I'm very big on being prepared, but like last week I really had to like lay out for him like, there's something that's been happening that I don't like, and I don't think I've made it clear how much it bothers me. So if there's anything I can ask for, like, we just can't do that again. And that's not being prepared to talk about a topic like I did in research before, especially with
know.
sports. So I think the UFC episode, we're getting ready for, about to record. He's let's throw in the Chandler versus McGregor ultimate, or they're doing Ultimate Fighter. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, like, I don't even know anything about that really, like,
Yeah.
he was like, oh, just throw it in real quick. But for me, it was like, there is no throwing in real quick. Like, once we start a topic, you can't just mention it for 30 seconds and just try to move on. Like,
Right.
we're gonna end up talking about it. So it's like, all right, but we did, because it wasn't that. It was just mentioning, like, all right, I don't need to know too much. I know enough about each fighters to we know whatever. So then later that week, I'm on a guest podcast. Um, he sent me. He was like, hey, these are three topics we're talking about. I thought he was asking me which one I wanted to talk about.
uh
So I responded with these two, and I said I don't really want to talk about these two. I told him why. I think one of them was a Braun injury. I'm like, at this point, he's 38. Like, what do you? The
right.
conversation's played out. Like,
Yeah.
what are we gonna talk about? Another one was like Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll and just everything that happened there in Seattle. I was like, I actually got an episode planned with Yasin coming up about that. So I was like, the other topic was the Charlotte Hornets and
Mm.
just what the hell's going on there. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we could talk about that. That's a good one. He never read my response correctly. So when I showed up the day of, he was like, all right, here's the three things we're talking about. I was like, I only researched the one. He was
Yeah.
like, and then he added two more. While we're there, he was like,
uh,
oh, and then we're also going to talk about Michael Jordan's son dating Laura Pimpin. I'm like, yo, or Larsa Pimps. I'm like, yo, I don't know about any of this. So that happened, and 4 days after that, that happened, and then literally last week's episode, I think it was the Lamar Jackson, and he brought up something the day of. It was a little bit miscommunication, but he was like, "Oh, like let's have a couple of minutes in the end of the episode talk about kind of quarterback movements." And I'm like, No, like that has nothing to do with Lamar. But in his mind, he was wanting to talk about, well, if Carr went to this team, if the Jets are looking at Aaron Rodgers, like what's
Mm,
the landscape looking like for Lamar? But in my head, it was like when you say let's talk about something separate for another 10 minutes, and then you wait till the day of, I'm like, bro, like so it was just like I was way overwhelmed by just I just don't like being unprepared. So
yeah.
I was like, so had to let him know, we kind of kept, and we do go back and forth on certain things. He's like, oh, like this is why I think this would be relevant. I'm like, well, this is why, like, gotta set up the episodes in a certain way so conversations flow, transitions flow. There are no empty spaces. We're not sitting there umming. Like I do that very specifically. So after like the next day, I was like, listen, I need to just flat out say if I bring up something like, hey, let's do an episode on this, and you say, oh, let's add this, add that, I'm like, all right, yeah, that works. But if you wait till the day of the day, like, do not do that to me because I can almost guarantee you I'm not gonna like that, and I'm gonna want to say no.
Mm,
And so at this point, if you know that that's gonna happen, don't even bother bringing it up because I'm not gonna receive it well.
right.
And I
Right.
had to let them know that it's just we've been working on it for 2 years. We've been getting a little bit more. I don't want to say butt heads because at the end of the day, we know we're best friends. We know what we're trying to do, but we do have to find a way to continue to work with each other even more extensively than we have been if we want to continue to grow on the way we want to. On top of that, like I said, videography, photography, everything he does, all my other projects I have in mind, he's my guy.
Yeah. Right.
Like
Of
if you were
course.
in my life and you have those skills, I'm not gonna go out and find that. So this for me also is a learning experience for us because like me and him are like I already got a documentary that I've been planning on work on, and he's already someone involved in his family, so he's already getting footage for me. Like he's gonna help me put all that together. Any other shows or podcasts he's gonna be involved in, any movie or series I ever write, I don't care. I'm 50, 80 years old. He's gonna be that main guy for me.
Yeah.
So it's a very big on me to find a way to make sure we are very, very open with communication, no matter how we feel at the time, because that is the best way to find a working relationship.
Yeah. a
Because we're
hundred
gonna
percent.
hurt each
Because
other feelings sometimes.
that's just. I think that just comes with it. Especially like. I mean, short term, maybe not, because in the beginning of anything, it's like it's fun. It's like the honeymoon phase of it. It's fun. But now you're approaching 2 years of that. It's not about just fun anymore. Now it's like,
Exactly.
I mean, we're at subscriber numbers are up here now, likes are up here now, monetization, like you said, we got merch, we just got our website launched, which that was dope. Good job on that. But
Appreciate you.
like that's all on the up and up. That means we need to, as each other's co-host, we need to be on the up and up.
Hmm.
And if I'm doing this and I'm like, you're my guy, I need you to understand that I can come to you with things that I don't necessarily like that you do, and maybe you don't like something I do. Just bring that up to me as well. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to make this better for both of us. So that all is extremely important.
Yeah, and like you said, like you made a very good point. Definitely shout out to Yasin. Stage name is actually Rado, it's Melo and Rado. So people are like, if you didn't know who Yasin is from who you got.
Okay.
But he takes like any issue or any concern I have with something, he does take it very well. Um, and I'm personally, I'll be honest, I'm trying to do the same. I don't take things as well as he do.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'll be honest, I had this idea in my head for 5 plus years, and when it comes to I have so many other production ideas, I see things in a certain way. That's the one thing I'm being or trying to be better at, that you are working with someone. And this podcast, we agreed to basically be 50-50. There's certain other projects where it's all right, like if this is how I want to produce it and I want you to record, direct, and all that, it still has to be with my direction. I'll give you your creative like liberty, but then the vision is mine. This is something that we decided together on. So like I'm actually like he takes criticism or anything way better than I do. I'll be completely honest. So that's something I myself have learned to take a step back. Like this isn't just your baby. It's both
Right.
yours. And like clearly I got him for the skills he has. Like he's good at editing, good at hashtags, picking songs and audios. Like, there's a lot that just I don't know about that he's bringing the skills to the table and he's teaching me and he lets me know like right now he's the one teaching me about hashtags or what hashtag to use and how to get your videos popping and all that. So that's something where I learned that I'm not like it's a give and take.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
give him a little bit, but I also learned like all right, you need to learn to take a little bit as well.
yeah, 100%. I've never been good with. Well, I think I'm good, and then I meet somebody who's actually good, and I'm like, I suck at taking. Like,
It's just I like things a certain way, and then
yeah, that's
once
what
it
it
seems
is.
like it's not going to be that way, it's like, oh, this is not coming out how I wanted it.
It's the same thing with like even outside of content and podcasts and like my 9 to 5. If I'm going to work and my day is usually structured like this, and this. Like, I mean, I'm in a warehouse, so things change daily. But you throw in something that's usually never in my, and I'm like, why am I in trouble? Like, you added more work. Like, what is? So it's like it's the same sort of thing where I expected my day to be like this. You can't be upset with me because you threw something my way and I'm pushing back a little bit. Like that's just not how it's gonna be.
Nah, but like I said, I think just flat out telling him like I can't and that was like I think a week ago. And like I think I was like, damn, like I need to start actually saying like I told him like, bro, like please be vocal about, anything you want, like anything you need. Like obviously, like I don't want this to seem like it's one way because he's way more just chillax with it. As
Just
long as
goes
we're
with the flow. Yeah.
yeah, so songs are putting out videos, we're dropping episodes, like we're good,
Yeah.
and I love that. But for me, I just like I want so much growth because, like I said, the sports was the beginning for me. Like I got a mental health podcast that I'm gonna be starting this year. Like I got like a documentary that gonna be starting this year, and for me, I want to be able to get so good at the podcast stuff to where I can put it on a back burner while not losing or feel like I'm neglecting it.
Right,
And
right.
and unfortunately, we're still so far from that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I mean, you're at this point, we've harped on it, but 2 years. So it makes sense that you're not there yet. I know
Hmm.
it almost feels like you're like, damn, we should be close to that, but 2 years is not. I think you both have a solid enough work ethic and you guys put out good enough content where you'll get to that point where that could be kind of pushed aside in a sense so that you can work on your other ventures. And I mean, he's a DJ, he has other ventures as well. He's going to be helping you on your other ventures. So I think you'll both come to an agreement on that, pushing it to the side. We got it to this point. It's good for now. We can still obviously do our episodes so we don't lose our following there, but now we can pursue that next level. You've talked about the documentary, you've talked about it a few times in private to us, and then you obviously you're bringing it up now in public. Can you tell me anything at all about that, on what it is, what it's about, or you?
Yeah. It's not like something is secret, but with most creators, you just when things are unfinished,
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
But no, it's just a lovely story. As I said, it's actually someone he knows. It's Rado's brother's fiance, soon to be wife, and mother of his child. So basically, a
uh,
sister-in-law. So his family's from Bulgaria, moved out here early when they was born. Came to the States. I think he was like 8 or 9 years old. Um, but so is her name is B. So is B. Her family's from Bulgaria. Same thing. Mother moved out here when they were children, and obviously you know how it is for the immigrants trying to come out here and live that American dream.
mhm.
Um, I don't know too much about the background. Still got to get a little bit more. But from what I know, I think she was in nursing. Obviously, mother had a passion for dancing. She grew up having a passion for dancing. It's a big cultural thing where they're from as well. They have a very big Bulgarian community that just has such a aspect of community, and it revolves around dance. So at a certain point, I do believe she took the chance to basically take that jump and decide to take the less secure route and open up her dance studio. And a couple years down the road, I don't even think she's been 3 years deep, and the growth has been exponential. They're opening up a gymnastics level on the floor. Like it's just
Dang.
she's doing so much. And for me, I'm basically doing a documentary about her life. It's a weird because it's gonna be revolving around her life, the culture of dance, kind of how her mother got her, and just everything around how she's now teaching the next generation. I'll be honest, she just had a son. I'm hoping, maybe the kid gets into dance a little bit as
Yeah,
well, and that could be just kind of just a little bow at the end of the project. But basically, the story is in a way about her, about the passion for dance. Just I don't know exactly how it's
right.
all gonna be pieced together. But it's basically gonna be revolving kind of just her and her studio, the kids that she's involved with, and just how dance kind of just became her whole life.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good. Like I said, I was just interested because I'm the same way where it's like I don't want to let it out too early because just anything at all. It's the same thing when if you're losing weight and you start talking about it, and then if something happens and you're not losing the weight, it's like, damn, I hyped this up
One bad
so
week could
much.
gain you
Yeah.
5 pounds like it's nothing.
Like I hyped this up and now I'm a lazy sack of shit. So like I was like, all right, he's brought it up a couple times. I think now's the time I could really see what this thing's about. No, that's interesting because it's not only about that coming to America, American Dream. It worked and in a few short years. So it'll be interesting to see how it worked and how it all began and where it is now. And
Yeah,
if the
because
son gets involved, that'll be nice.
for me, that's I don't know that he's still a baby, but
Yeah.
that's how I think when I'm putting projects together. I'm thinking of ways I could pull in, just the life story to really, because like I said, it's for me, it's like yes, it's about her life, but it's really also about the passion,
Hmm.
for dance. 'Cause at the end of the day, everyone who's pretty much going to be in that documentary decided to make dance that important in their life, especially for her. Like I said, a lot of people would have easily took nurse, just
Oh
not even
yeah.
worried about like, just because we're not getting the bills paid, you're not finding opportunities. So for her to chase her dreams to the point where she opened up a studio in Chicago, and for that studio to be successful.
Mm. No, that'll be good. I like stories like that. It's that when it works, because
Hmm.
obviously you could throw away that nursing job, and if it doesn't work, it's like, like especially if they're good people,
No, yeah. And
like
then
I
you
don't
you
want to
see
see
that
it.
a lot is like most people don't even try
No.
because they're scared of it'll work if it'll work. And that's I think what's most inspiring to me about this is not only did she try, that means she must have had the faith and love for it, but she clearly must have had a very supportive family and
Mm-hmm.
support group that allowed her to take that jump. And I want to capture all of that.
100%. I mean, that's the stuff that you don't really see is how the husband took it, how the rest of the family took it. Like you're seeing your wife say, "Yeah, I got this nursing job, but it's not what I want to do." You as a husband have to be like, "Well, we do have a family to support, but that family is you. Like we have to support you as a part of the family. So go for it." And it'll be interesting to even see his point of view on it.
Yeah, so they uh they've been together I think a few years, but they have history, same country,
Yep.
but she's been his like going back I think 10 years. She's danced for him a couple times at performances. Cause that's where Yasin pretty much his brother's a hip hop violinist, travel the world. Yasin pretty much does a lot with him while doing photography, videography, DJing, all that. So that's basically they met through dance as well. So
Yeah,
it like I to me, everything's just revolving around that,
yeah,
and just have a success story. And like I said, I hope they just throw little Leo in dancing as well. Just to get him started, just to kind of just wrap all that up and just really just have it be a masterpiece.
yeah. I'm sorry if he don't. You got to get just a little, just
Just
like
someone's
a
kid.
stunt double. Like yo,
Yeah,
I need your
a
kid.
stunt
I need your
double.
kid.
Yes, yes. Well, I definitely like without sounding creepy. At a certain point, we're gonna have to interview and
Yeah,
record some children, obviously with the parents' permission, and all
right,
that.
right, right.
But like they're going to be a part of it. So also thinking about revolving it around competition to where they have the kids training for that competition, the struggles they're going to. I have one or two kids that are top of the class that this is that next prodigy or something like that.
Yep.
All right, so it's a lot to piece together. Uh, some part of you think it might even be a mini series because I can't imagine how I could fit all that in under 3 hours.
Yeah.
Um, but also once you get a project, it becomes a 5 hour project, and then you really pull out what's unnecessary, things like that. You can't oversaturate it as well. So
Right.
we'll see where it lands.
Yeah. No, I mean, once you chop it and everything, if you're still looking at 3.5 hours, then a miniseries ain't a bad. Everybody's doing a miniseries now
No,
anyway. Like,
right. And we could
everything
drop
has
it
a
week by
series.
week, get some
Yeah,
excitement over the next episode, drop
right.
some previews. It actually could turn into a bigger thing.
Yeah, no, that'll be really good. I think that'll be good, especially having because if you did a mini series, I'm a director now, I guess. If you did the mini series, you got, you start early. What happened? How you got here? The culture of dance, and now you fast forward. You're on episode 3, and it's like this kid's just sweating his ass off, dancing his ass off because he's got a competition and he's 12 years old or whatever it might be. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops and what you do with it.
No, for sure. And that's just the beginning, man. Like I feel like, like we talk about certain podcasts, like I don't like getting that call like environment because I do feel like I have a voice, but
Mm-hmm.
only for certain things. Like, I'm not a say it, I'm not a know it all. I don't hold any specific this is law, this is how it is. But I'm a visual person. There's been so many things when it comes to books, movies, shows, music, that it affects your emotions in so many ways. And just to think that I can do that for somebody else, good ways, while telling people's story, while getting people and just their experiences out there is something that I've been really looking forward. So it's definitely just a beginning.
Yeah, no, that's why you were one of the people I wanted on here because, for the few people that I know you, it's like that's Melo who you got. Like that's what it is. Like, no, I've been in like private group chats with him and other people. Like I know things that he has planned down the road. I just don't know the big picture. So, like the documentary, I knew you had something down the road, didn't know what it was. The other podcasts you've talked about bringing other podcasts to the table. You just mentioned it was a mental health podcast. So how does where did you get the mental health podcast idea from? How does that come to you?
So that's a little tricky because, like I said, there's a lot of topics I like to stay away from. That
Yeah,
should be one of them.
right.
But I'm very specific on the podcast being me and my friend having conversations with each other. I don't want to ever see us telling people this is how you do it, this is the way. Us having conversations with each other, basically trying to talk it out, maybe help each other in hopes that people listening to our struggles and the things we go through might shed some light on maybe you're not only person going through this, other people are
Mm,
facing that, and maybe it might help them if it helps them. But that kind of came about like I talk to myself a lot, like to where like I'm literally talking things out to myself. And like I think like the amount of times I told myself like I wonder if someone else thinks like this. Like I can't be the only one that feels this way. I can't be the only one that going through it. Like I have so many personal like when it comes to things I'm not happy with, it all revolves around who I am, who I want to be, the point I am in my life. And I feel like just especially in our age, like you're getting to your late 20s, early 30s, like a lot of us are still feeling lost.
yeah.
And sometimes talking to a therapist isn't the best because of the what's the word I'm looking for? The
Stigma?
yes, like 100%, yes. And not to mention, I've heard horror stories
Right.
about our age therapists that just don't seem to be able
Yeah,
to keep their bias out. So as I said, I don't want to be no one's therapist, but at the end of the day, this really, while it is for, we're gonna put it for a podcast, put it out for the view. It's something we're doing for us. I have a very big belief that a purpose, the purpose of life is a life of purpose. I was put on this earth to help people. A big reason why I struggle with my mental health is I feel like I haven't found that way yet. The last couple of years with the podcast documentaries, I'm starting to feel like I'm finding myself. But like I said, I don't talk a lot of things out. She's another person that she believes, like we both believe we have such a purpose and a specific duty to those around us to provide so much love and care. And she's one of very few people that holds that at such a high standard like me. So I just feel like us just having those conversations with each other just kind of can create some spark. Hopefully hit the right ears, let people know they're not alone. And in reality, honestly, it's mostly for me. I'm hoping
Yeah,
they'll help me.
yeah, no, 100%. I think one thing you said, even without like the stigma or the horror stories, I think even bigger named, comics, whatever it might be, that have podcasts, a lot of people go to them and listen to them talk about things that they've gone through, and they're like, "Oh, okay, so I'm not the only one." So even just hearing somebody, whether through headphones on a screen, whatever it might be, just hearing somebody to have a conversation with someone, and you realize like, oh, okay, I'm normal. Like that's a normal thing that somebody else went through 100%. So I think that'll be interesting.
Exactly. Honestly, like you're one of my very few male friends. This podcast will be with the women, but for men, like we don't talk a lot about what we go through or enough,
Right.
especially with other men. Um, so being a man that's willing to go out there and be vocal about the problems I go through, not in like 'cause some people do that, but it involves a lot of toxic masculinity,
Yeah, yeah.
and like that's why I say I don't like that cult following or that that nature they have. But I definitely think some people do need to see that, especially men. Like I do hope that men will listen in. But obviously I want all sexes to listen in. But I do hope that men will listen because a lot of problems I face as a man because of the social structures that were set up to where I grew up thinking this is what I had to do, this is what I had to be, and those things are starting to be broken down and they should be.
Yeah, no, I think especially like a lot of people give the current upbringing and what the future will be like, they give them a lot of shit, but it's like that's because you guys were always taught like just get up, brush it off, move forward. Like you're not happy that people are on Twitter voicing what's wrong or they're on a podcast voicing what's wrong, and it's like, but that's normal. Like you should be able to voice something
You
that's
you
bothering you.
should.
Like you would think, like, oh, this is bothering me. Here's what it is. I'm guilty of not doing that, but I'm just stuck in my ways, I guess. Like I'll just
No,
push it aside.
it's really hard. Like I
Yeah.
said, some of the reasons I have for my own unhappiness when it comes to certain levels, um, is because I want to be a certain person, um, but that comes from the stigma of what I grew up thinking a man should be.
Right.
I do feel I fall short in certain ways of what I think a man should be, but then other than I try to tell myself like a man should be what you think you're the best man. Like be the
Hmm.
best you can be, and as long as you fit in that category, then you're fine. So that's like a main part of my struggles is the societal pressure of like, come on, you got all these podcasts now, all these alpha males telling you this is what you gotta do, this like so but so many people are eating that up. So especially our generation, they're just so convinced that this is what you have to be happy. And I'm actually trying to break away from that, just growing up from what when the era we grew up in.
Exactly. I mean, even if my son's 3, so if you go back 4 years ago and then you go to me now, like I'm way more open, but that's because I want him to be open. Like I would hate for him to ever like bury something that's bothering him because his dad said, "Oh, you just got to get over things." Like, no, 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 don't get like come talk to me, your mom. Like, I don't just get over it. I've been
No,
getting
right.
over it my whole damn life.
And there really is no getting over it if you don't go through
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So that having just raising a son, like you hear about girl dad, girl dad, girl dad. Like you got to raise a man too, and you got to, like you said, you got to show him what a man should be, and let him know that he can just be his own man.
Hmm. And it's easier said than done.
A hundred
you
percent.
know, especially like, and I just commend you, like, really just the fact that you said that, like, 4 years ago, I was different, but once I had a son, I was like, I can't let him grow up the same way I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
And I'll be honest, a lot of men don't do that. And I find, like, I don't want to say shameful, but it's like, come on, like, you weren't happy.
right.
You struggled the way you were raised. Why would, and that's just not men, that's just a lot of our parents.
Oh yeah,
Why would you raise your children the same exact nature? And like sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, if I didn't, this is what I had to deal with, so you're gonna deal with it too." Like, what?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's insane. Like so one of the clips I actually put on TikTok was a stand up joke, and it was about how like I talked about dangerously average dudes too. Like when my dad growing up, he liked weed. So like he would tell us like go to your room and we would just be locked in our rooms. Like I would never go into somebody's house and like go in there and being like, "Oh, let's go hang out in your room." They'd be like, "No, dude, just go in the living room." It's like, "You motherfuckers can hang out in the living room?" Like, bro, I can't hang out in the fucking living room. You
That's
guys are
funny.
you guys this is normal. Like I'm used to just let's go to your room, we'll play games or whatever. Cause like I'll have a game cube in my room, but it was either my bedroom or I'm outside. Like there was no living room, there was no casual space. Me and my brothers had like the back area where we had to hang out, and like if I didn't have my brothers, I'd probably be banging my head off a wall back there. As much as I give them shit for the way we grew up.
But no, now you got your son, and
Yeah,
he's completely different. And that's what like we all go through struggles. Like there's a lot of conversations about breaking generational curses. And I do 100% think we are the generation that's doing that the most.
Yeah.
But there are certain things I feel like we're still stuck on. Like I'm the type of person I just question everything, and it's a blessing and a curse because it does allow me to be happy with certain answers if I just don't feel like that's what it should be because I need to know why.
Right.
So a lot of people they just don't understand the why of why they're doing what they're doing, and
Yeah.
a lot of it comes from resentment of how they were raised.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why, I mean, I guess now is as good a time as any. That's why, like, the reoccurring, I've teased it. Melo is the one who's going to be that reoccurring guest that comes on here because he's somebody that we can bounce jokes back and forth, but we could talk about almost anything. And I feel like it'll
Hmm.
be good conversation because we kind of line up similar on a lot of those sort of views. I think you're right. I think this generation is probably the best at like breaking those cycles and getting out of that. But there's just people who, oh, this is how I was raised, so it's the way you're supposed to be raised. That's that cycle that also people deal with, and I'm hoping that their kids, maybe they'll be the ones that break that cycle. Somebody's got to do it. God damn it! Like,
No, and honestly, it's a blessing and a curse. But the age of technology, it allows that freedom to see how other people are living. But at the end of the coin, it also creates a false sense of reality that makes you think that you're not living the life everyone should be living. So
a hundred
it's a little
percent.
bit of both. So like we didn't know other people were living other lives because we lived in the '90s. We didn't have the internet until like some
No,
of us were like probably 9, 8, 7 years old. Some of us were in our teens when we got the internet. Even then, we still had to switch that with the phone line. We couldn't unlimited access.
right?
We were still using maps and using libraries and books and
Yeah,
stuff. So we didn't know a lot. Now there's no way to just kind of keep someone sheltered or hidden. I mean, granted, you might be in a small town or something. Even then, like information is just out there. So
yeah. Even
hopefully they find it.
100%. Even like small towns, everybody, those kids still want cell phones, and then your kid, like if you don't give your kid a cell phone, it's like your kid doesn't have a phone. It's like, all right, well, I guess he's gonna get one. So naturally, you can limit as much as you want. Something somewhere is gonna come across their feed, it's their friend's feed. They're gonna get information somewhere. So my goal is to just raise the best environment here that I can, so that the information that he's getting from somebody else is like, I mean, that's just how you and your family do shit. That ain't how we do shit around here. Like,
But you
not at
said it.
all.
You're open for that discussion. If you have a
Yeah.
question, come ask. So hey,
Mhm.
I went over Derek's house and like this is how they do like dinner. Like what's that? Like all right, fine. Like let me tell you. Like
Right.
this is how their family, so you having that environment for your son just right off the bat, like I couldn't ask my family. I was raised with my
No.
grandmother. I could not ask her anything, even if I was genuinely curious about something or
Yeah.
didn't understand. Because I was just like, you couldn't even talk to adults back then. Like you couldn't question, you couldn't ask, or you just did what you told. Like you said, I was constantly sent to my room all the time as well. Like we still, granted, we had the plastic on the couches in the living room, so it really made us feel like we couldn't even touch
Yeah.
anything, we couldn't dirty anything. So it definitely like it really like I grew up not really feeling like my home was a home,
Right.
like I just my room was my room. That was about it.
Yep.
So just having that environment that you have just right off the bat, it's gonna allow them to be more open when they're older, and that's very important.
Bro, it's so funny the plastic on the couches because like I didn't know
Why?
many people that did it, but every time it was somebody's older black grandmother that like no white grandmother did it. It was always older black women that I
And my
knew.
thing is like it was never comfortable, and at a certain point,
No, it's
like
squeaky. Like
it's a couch.
how are you
Like, just
getting
let it be
settled
a
in?
couch. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you moved in 5 years ago. Like, why is it still here? Like, and I guess what it was, they wanted to save it, but like, bro, that junk looks so dingy and stupid to
Yeah,
me.
now it's like, bro, that's tacky at this point. Like,
So, like, I don't even think you could find that anymore. Like,
no, I
probably
don't.
for like moving,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
at the end of the day, I don't even think they make the clear ones like that individually for that anymore. They
Nah,
probably
you
just give
gotta
you one to wrap it
you gotta
around.
go saran wrap it yourself if that's
Yeah,
what
that's
you
what I was
want.
saying. I don't even think they sell that. But I'll be honest, if we talk about killing curses. I'm not even gonna talk about generational curses. We killed all the right type of fashion curses that we were dealt with.
Yeah,
When it came to the type of materials on the walls, those
yeah,
ugly ass carpets, these couches with plastic. Like I'm so glad we did it a lot
bro.
of those things.
Wallpaper, that
Yo,
old wallpaper, get it out of my
horrible, bro.
face. Get it out of my
That
face.
wood signing panels
Yeah,
that
bro.
all those houses used to have. They
I
used to
live.
come off the wall.
Yeah. I live so like that apartment I'm in, the house I'm in, it's older. My kitchen still has like half the wall. So like the upper half is like that white, bottom
Yeah,
half
yeah.
is that wood panel. And like I was talking to my wife today. I'm like, we could do like this gray or something, like that, get rid of that wood panel. So we're probably gonna do like a dark stain because bro, it just looks so old. It's a
It's so
it
old
just
and ugly.
ages the room no matter what you do to it. We got modern appliances and old walls, and I'm like, it just looks old still.
Granted, the only thing I would take from being old is those refrigerators. They
Yeah.
don't make them like they used to. That's the only thing I'll
No.
take from back in the day. They had the right compartments. I mean,
They
granted,
did
they
it
made a
right.
lot of noise. You had to pull that little tray out from the bottom sometimes,
Yeah.
but hey, they were good. My fridge never have no room. It's only three shelves and everything you just shove together.
Yeah, exactly. Like they dumbed it down. That's what they did.
They did.
Like
Like
the
it's a
back in the
door.
day, you
You're
got those.
good.
It was a closet. That shit
That's
was
what
a
I'm saying. It was
closet.
the apartments, you
Yeah.
lifting things up. Now they said, listen, we gave you three shelves and the refrigerator costs way more and it's smaller and it's like not as durable at all. So here, deal with it.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Like everything now has to be like cute. It's all small. Like back in the day, that's the one thing that they did right. It didn't matter if it was cute. It was their vehicles were these big boat fucking cars, but them shits were big boat cars. Like you can move around
I
in
had a
them.
Buick. I loved it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was a 2000, but it was still had that big body. But the fact that
Yeah,
I'll never be able to drive in a car that I could sit in and spin my seat around,
bro,
it still bothers me to this day.
I would love that, bro.
Like what? Like they used to treat cars that's basically like you could travel in them. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
Like
literally what they
now
were for.
everyone's just shoved in. Yeah, it used to
Like
be a lot better.
I got a third row seating in my car, and it still don't feel like it's enough. Like I'm like this. How did like back in the day, I had like a my mom's Oldsmobile, and like I felt like I had room. And these three third row seating SUVs just don't feel like they're doing it for me right now.
They really shrank them. Like the amount of places I don't feel comfortable squeezing in because I have a Buick, because my shit is just so big.
It's a boat,
Like
bro. They're
they
boats.
really used to make those cars a lot bigger, and that's the one thing where it for me they should have never like all electronics like you said they want slimmer,
Yep,
cuter, prettier, and it's
yep.
just like we didn't need that for everything.
No, they did that with the iPhone. Everybody got cases and fattened them up anyway. So it's like it
Bro, I
wasn't
haven't seen the
necessary.
back of my phone in 10
it,
years.
it wasn't necessary to cute those up because everybody bulks them anyway. Like you have to.
Paying a damn car payment for a damn phone, I want to make sure it's protected.
Yeah, if I drop that thing once, I'm done. Like I'm there goes
I
everything.
know.
I'm reliant on it for GPS. Like
Your whole life.
literally my whole life breaks if that breaks. So it's getting bulked up.
Now that's the one thing. The phones, it's always been a hit or miss because they're bringing they're really trying to bring the flip phones back,
Yeah,
bringing back all
like
like to me the Sidekick was one of the best phones ever. It was the
100%.
smartphone when it was a smartphone. You had all the different ways you could slide up. You had the
Hmm.
keyboard. You had the online accessibility. It was every for me. It went downhill after that because iPhone, you already know they just give you the same crap every year,
Every year.
minus or two or thing.
Hmm.
Android stepping his game up at this point. Like I'm paying camera prices, like little Kodak camera, $1,200 prices for a brick that's basically a camera. I'm like,
Yeah,
at that point, I might as well just buy a decent phone. But now they don't sell decent phones anymore. You have to
exactly.
buy the expensive one.
Exactly. Like I don't know. I just don't get it. Like certain things went out of fashion and it was done right. Some things you're trying to bring back. You know you made it wrong the past 10 years and now you're trying to bring it back. Sidekick, I agree. I think that was probably the last like good innovative thing where they could have just kept that design and nobody would have complained.
No, they would right to this day they could have had a smartphone sidekick where the touch screen was on front and you still could slide up the keyboard.
A hundred
Nobody would
percent.
have cared,
A
and it
hundred
still would have been
percent.
the same damn size as this brick right here.
Yeah, but I got the light on right now because I'm waiting on a ring, but like, bro, the iPhone is not supposed to be like this brick.
It's
It's a brick. I don't even know if it showed because I just blinded
it
myself. I'm
it
trying to
did
show the
not.
phone and I'm blind.
He
I'm
was like,
like,
"Yo, this iPhone ain't showing. It's a brick."
Bro, I don't know what I was trying to do there, but
He's
it
like,
did not
I wonder
work.
what this does. Oh,
I can't see out of my left eye now. I don't know why I tried to do that.
that's what that button's for.
Because I was like, oh, I'm waiting on well, I'm not waiting. I didn't order yet a ring light, but I was like, I have a tripod and a phone like this. That's my point. Though, like they do everything, so I guess they did it right because I can just turn my flashlight on and I can brighten up my face and I can go take pictures on it and do this, that, the third text. It's my map. But if you're gonna make it do all that, make it damn durable. Stop cute.
That's the point. Like,
Why?
yeah,
Why are you making it cute? It doesn't need to be. I don't care if it's
because
cute.
they want your money. Like
That's
I used
all
to
it
work for
is.
Verizon, and that's why I switched from Apple, working for a tech company. They make it so difficult to like. They
Bro,
really want your life to be miserable, so you can just give them more money. Like they try so hard to limit everything.
yeah, they try to limit everything and they try to connect everything. Like they're like, oh, you got the iPhone. How about a Mac and AirPods and everything else, an iPad? It's like I don't need all that. Damn it.
Every time I do like a survey, obviously just me, because a lot of my friends are iPhones. They always try to get me to switch.
Yeah,
Majority of people refuse to switch to iPhone for the sole reason that it will be too inconvenient to have to switch everything over.
all their devices. That's
Oh,
literally
that's the only reason why
all
people
their
refuse.
devices.
Yeah.
Like I'm recording this on a Mac. I got my phone. Like I had the iPad Pro. Like all those devices, and it's convenient because I'm logged into all of them. I do one thing on one, it goes to the other. I change my phone. Now all of a sudden it's like, damn it. Like I feel like I'm stuck
And
in
then
the
once you start, like there's no going back. Like I
no.
would say Yasin, he does Mac and iPhone stuff, and he's been over a decade plus doing it. So like he been trying to
Yeah.
show me something, like, bro. Like my computer doesn't do that.
Yeah, I can't do that,
I don't
damn it.
have that option. Like,
And
or
then vice
I can
versa.
get this app and you can't, or like
Yeah.
yeah.
Same exact thing. I like to run like on Android, I would run like emulators and shit. Like I could play all my old games on iPhone ain't letting you do that. iPhone's like, get that shit. You better pay for it. Apple Arcade Apple or whatever the hell it's called. I don't even know because I don't support it, damn it. Like Apple Gaming, whatever it is. Like I want an emulator. I don't want to play your stupid games.
Right. But that's
But
how they do it. They try to grab every single penny they can.
we are over an hour. So I mean, it didn't even feel like it, but we're over
That
an
was a
hour
good out.
now. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. It was fun. It's good to introduce you because you are going to be on here and we are going to have our own little segment and everything. It's going to be fun, and we'll work out the kinks of that. But I think people will like what we do because we'll probably lighten it up. It'll be funny. We'll bring topics. It'll be serious. I think people are going to enjoy it. People are going to enjoy what you do, who you got. I mean, you got to plug that. You guys got a million places you guys are. So that's all you to plug. I'll run out of breath.
Honestly, and that's why we created the Who You Got Podcast.com.
There you
You
go.
go there, everything else. We got the blogs, we got videos, we got the episodes, we got the merch, we got the Patreon. That was a big thing for us. We were so scattered everywhere. It was hard to not only keep track of everything, but I'm on podcast platforms I don't even know existed. I'm
Yeah.
like didn't even know that was a name. So who you got podcast.com, everything you need from us will be right there.
You doing that was the reason like I was like because we were using I was using Linktree and like Linktree's good, but you got to drop down a million different links and it's like people are trying to find where they're trying to find you like specifically. So I was like, oh, they did that website. Your website, it came out good. So I did the chewintherag.com and so far it's gotten good feedback. It's real like it's only me. So and I'm not really topic based. I don't have a blog or anything. So it's real just links. But like I feel like it's actually helped a lot to just be like, yo, just go to chewintherag.com. So who you got.com, chewintherag.com. You are you would say you're a reader.
Yes.
You're a reader. Before we go, because I didn't really have any questions. You know, we do fan submitted questions. Me and you were kind of like a last, we were switching days or whatever. 3 books that you recommend to everybody. Any genre, anything at all. Just 3 books, first 3 books that come to your
Okay, this is probably gonna
head.
be an unpopular opinion because a lot of people don't like David Goggins.
I love
Um,
David Goggins.
I do like for me like his message works for some people, it
Yeah.
doesn't. There's certain things that I pull from him, and I did get a lot of good advice from his book, Can't Hurt Me. I got that. Actually, I'm looking at my bookcase. All
Oh,
right.
you're
Yep.
definitely a reader. You got a bookcase. That's how you know you're a reader.
So I'll tell you
Some
my three books I could suggest. Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins. Good read. Kind of story about his life. Like it helped me understand that I have to find my own way to find my path. Just like he did. What he did didn't work for me, but it kind of helps. The Art of War. A very good book on just strategizing, just life in general. And then The Richest Man in Babylon. It's like a short
mm,
story, a series of short stories that are meant to teach financial literacy.
okay.
It really don't even talk about money, but it's one of those that if you can read between the lines with the lessons, you'll learn something new.
Okay. There you go. Three books. I was like, because I knew you're a reader and I'm not. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a reader. I'll
I
do
mean, it's been a
audiobooks.
while since I think it's been a good year,
I'll do audiobooks.
probably
I'll
since
tell
I
people,
legit sat down and read, but probably
yeah,
8 months.
I'll tell people I read a book. It means I listened to it when I was driving. That's what that means. I'm not a reader and I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's me reading an interview or reading an article. I watched a
Yeah,
TikTok
yeah,
video.
yeah. That's what it comes down to. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I read Kevin Hart's book, and it's like, I'm like, all right, no, I listened to it though, and I got the message. Damn it! Sometimes you might receive the message more. I think that's what it is for me. I think I'm a listener. I like audio. Like, I think I'll get your message more if you got it on tape. That's just how I learned. That's all that is. But
I'm the opposite. I like putting my own in between the lines, creating,
yeah,
especially if it's fictional, like something like Harry Potter or The Hunger Games.
yeah.
You being able to fill in the pictures by yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think those books, I don't know if I'd be able to follow listening to a Harry
Oh,
Potter book. So
no,
I
I
think
have to read it.
that's a good point. Let me emphasize, let me make this clear. That's for legit, what is that? Nonfiction. That's how you
Yep.
know I don't read.
Those are for the real books.
Yeah, those are for legit books, not that nerd stuff. All right. All right, bro. Who you got podcast? No, who you got.com. See, look at me. I'm
No, it's who you
laughing.
got podcast.
Is it who you
We
got
want, yeah, it's who you
podcast.com?
got podcast.com. Yep.
Okay. All right. See, look at that. I knew that. You know what? I knew that.
We gotta let them know we a podcast because it's
Yeah.
saying who you got.com is kind of like, what does that even mean?
Yeah,
But if you
for
say who you
me,
got podcast, you all right, that's a podcast.
yeah, that's a good point. Maybe chewing the rag. That sounds disgusting if you don't know what that
I
is.
swear, if you don't know that's a podcast, no one's clicking on that for fun.
somebody somebody at my job, because they got out that I do this because people have me on Facebook, whatever. He's an older guy. He's not old, he's older. And he's like, oh, what's your podcast name? And I said, Chewing the Rag. He says, that sounds disgusting. I
I
was
gotta
like,
ask before
damn.
we leave, how did you come up with that? I don't think I ever asked you.
So no, people, so chewing the fat is a saying. It's just like bullshit conversation. But I knew chewing the fat would probably be taken. It's something that's a known saying. So all I did was look up synonyms of chewing the fat, and I guess I guess chewing the rag. To chew the rag with somebody was to have meaningless, just nonsense bullshit conversation. So I was like, okay,
Yeah, it
yeah,
definitely sounds like something dirty.
yeah, it's not it's
It
not supposed to, but it sounds gross. It sounds like a
really
dog
does.
like just slobbering on a washcloth.
It
Like,
sounds like putting something in my mouth I do not want to put in
yeah,
my
a
mouth.
100%, which is fitting for like my brain. So I guess you know what? It works out. If you know me, it works out. What else?
No, definitely.
You got anything else at all before we go?
No, man, it was a pleasure. Like you said, we definitely plan on doing this more. But it's been because we even talked about before I even knew you were doing Chewin The Rag.
Yeah.
I definitely approached you about doing something maybe joint together.
Yeah.
So I love that you got your solo going. We already know we're gonna have reoccurring, so I'm actually very excited, man.
Yeah, no, that's the only reason I wanted you specifically is because you approached. I was like, okay, so he already knows that we'll feed off each other, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. The only reason I think you and I aren't doing that is just we both already have something with co-hosts. Like,
Yeah,
let's. You're about to do your own thing. I'm doing my own thing, but we can easily intertwine them and help each other grow, and it'll be fun. It'll be a good time, man.
for sure, for sure.
All right, Mel. Thanks for coming on, everybody. Who you got podcast.com.
All right.
Take it easy, bro.
Yes, sir.